Hi, my name is Chris Erskine. I'm an urban landscape artist, and welcome to my weekly art post, a video blog on my artistic efforts. So, just a week or so ago, I purchased an iPad, and not any old iPad. I picked the new or 1-year-old iPad Pro, the 12.9-inch tablet. And so I thought I'd give a bit of a product review. I'm not going to go over it entirely like you've not seen any other product reviews out there. I'm going to actually base this on what I saw out there as far as on YouTube, as far as reviews, and just highlight the things that I thought were relevant to my decision for purchasing this as an artist. So the whole question of the Air 2 versus the new iPad 9.7 inch, I think it is, versus the last year's iPad Pro 12.9 inch, and the decision on which size, because there's huge price differences in this thing. This was about 12. This was 12 something, and this is the 128 gigabyte memory, because as everyone points out, you can add memory to it, and the apps do take up space, so you do want to have lots of memory. I'm not really planning to store any images on this. I'm using it as a work tool, that when I finish something, I clean off the memory and put it on my iPad, my tablet or storage device. I don't plan to keep a lot of work on here. It's more that when I'm finished, it gets moved up to another platform. So the reason I went for the 12 was really partly, as one of my friends kept saying, you know, it's grossly overpriced. It's a very expensive piece of kit, as the British would say, and you know, either you go big or go home. And I know from my previous experience using the Bamboo that it is very helpful, because Bamboo actually, the drawing board tablet, works very much like the iPad as far as drawing is concerned. And I have the stylus. The stylus is just a dumb stylus, and you're drawing on that, and it basically has the same kind of feel. Works well, and this also comes in smaller versions, but it's nice not to have to keep moving the image around on the screen so that you can continue to drawing. The closer it is to a sheet of paper, really, from an artist's perspective, the better it is. Then all you have to do is focus on the drawing. Now, the other thing, just as we're talking about this, is the other thing which is nice about the having an iPad versus this, is that you're actually looking at, you see, it's just like a sheet of paper. Where you're drawing is where you're seeing the image. Where here, you're drawing on one surface, but looking at another surface. And it's not a huge, big deal, but it does make it a little bit of a different creative process than working on an iPad. And so the working on an iPad and the sketching is very much like working on a sheet of paper. However, as some people have pointed out, the the iPad Pro is not a replacement for a tablet. You still need to do, on the more heavy-duty non-mobile apps, you really do need a computer, either a desktop or a laptop. It's really not. It really can't take you all the way home, as far as I can see. It's good for the beginning stages, brainstorming, working out the preliminary sketches, doing some trace work with reference photos, or working out color compositions, that sort of thing. But it's not a replacement for a tablet or for a laptop, not yet. I think that's where they're going with this, is it really does have the feel that they're trying to go along the same lines as Microsoft Surface, and they're coming up with their own version, their own route to that endpoint. And it's a very much feels like an a work in progress. It's not the finished product. So I wouldn't be surprised in a year or two you'll see a much more superior large-scale tablet iPad coming out, and which will make this out of date. But that's just an impression. I have no facts to base that on. But just the way Apple seems to have acted in the past, I wouldn't be surprised about that. So, so with size, it's really the big thing about the size is it lets you treat it like a piece of paper. So you're looking at the image. You don't have to work with a second screen over here. It is very responsive. That's the so you don't have to shrink or move or stretch as much as you might in the past with smaller tablets. This is really the size of a piece of paper. So we take this. Here's a piece of paper, my pad of paper. Here's the tablet. It's about the same, right? And this drawing surface is pay close to that. So I really would, if you really want to duplicate the experience of working on paper as closely as possible, the iPad Pro 12.9 inches is the way to go. I also went for the, as I just mentioned, I went for the large memory size, 128 gigabytes. I would have gone more, but that's grossly expensive. Like the whole package cost me just shy of $2,000. It's quite expensive. Yeah, so over small versus big, that's what settled it for me. I thought, why am I going to be compromising when I'm really trying to reproduce the experience of working on paper? And therefore, let's go all the way. But at the end of the day, $2,000 for you're just in a way reproducing what you can do on paper for $12. So anyone who's feeling that they don't have the funds for this sort of thing, this is. I haven't proven that it's essential. It's a nice thing to have. Especially with the next point I'm going to make, which is that working with Adobe Cloud. But the only other thing I want to mention is, where did I put it? Is the Apple Pencil, where did I put it? Sorry. Yeah, here it is. So this is the famous Apple Pencil, and it cost me about $150 thereabouts. It's really good. It does have this very flimsy recharger at the end, which I agree with the people who say it's just an accident waiting to happen. You just stick it in at the power point at the bottom, which also seems very flimsy and looks like it could break easily. And then you just charge it and you leave it in like that. And that, again, looks like an accident waiting to happen. Recharge time, I agree, it's about a half an hour for this, and it's good. It's good for a long time. I've only recharged this once actually so far in the week or so I've had it. Yeah, so that, and then let me just, I'm just going to put this thing down because it's, as I said, it's a $150 pencil basically. I had considered the Adobe Stylus and Pencil by 53. I did actually buy Pencil by 53, which is a really nice thing. Let's see if I can get it out here. I think it's here somewhere. Yeah, here it is. This is really nice. It's a very nice, really nice writing tool, and works very well with their sketch, the pencil paper 53. It's really a nice device, drawing device, and this was $69. This is the wood one. Has a nice feel to it. Yeah, it works really good. It's like working with a charcoal pencil, actually, a charcoal pencil. So it's a very good thing. If you can't afford the pencil, the Apple Pencil, this is definitely something to consider. Adobe has a really good stylus also. I would recommend. And then there's a third one, really sounds fantastic. about $130, but you only can get it through online, so you have to mail for it. That one I was seriously considering, but at the end of the day, the pencil's really doing it for me, the Apple Pencil, so I figured I spent enough money. Now, I also agree with the reviews that say that this is very slippery. It is, and so I did get a cover, and this one's really nice. It's friggin' expensive, $75. It clips on at the end, and then it also has a magnet on the back. It has a hole for the camera in the back and a rubber tab for turning on and off. So it's, you know, which a lot of the other ones do too. It's really good. As far as it doesn't add too much weight to it. It does feel protected, though I'm very cautious with things. So I did buy this bag. This is an Italian bag. It's about the only thing that would fit it that was had a little bit of style to it, that wasn't black. I find that the computer tablet bags have no style whatsoever, and so this is 90 bucks. So I really did feel ripped off. It's a beautiful bag. I like it. It's got a little bit of style, not a whole lot of style. Got a little bit of style, and it's not black, and which I wanted to distinguish it from my laptop bag. So it was really good. Just, you know, friggin' expensive. So I would recommend getting this, because really putting that in your backpack is asking for trouble. Putting it in your laptop bag with your laptop, that is a lot of computer equipment to have in one bag. Like this is let's say this is 1,600 with all the gadgets. My laptop is about just under $2,000. That's $4,000 in one bag. I kind of feel a little bit nervous about that, so I don't like having all my valuables in one spot. So that's I would recommend highly getting a computer bag, and don't put it in your backpack. I know people do, but I'd be kind of nervous about it. But I do put my tablet in my backpack, but I don't think I put that in, because it just feels like it could snap or if you dropped it, you know, because that's a sheet of glass there. Some people have noted that the glass surface is very glassy, and so it doesn't have a lot of grip to it. Though I find with the Apple Pencil, it does feel very, I don't have any problems with it. It feels like working with the bamboo tablet. It does feel, it doesn't slip over like you're on a skating rink. There does feel a little bit of teeth, but some people have recommended putting a screen protector that create more of a paper feel, and I was considering doing that, but my experience so far doesn't really warrant it. It's $12 to $14, I understand, to get the screen protector for this, so sorry. You know, I might do that in the future, but at the moment I won't. I'm happy with that. The other thing that people commented on is that it's very shiny surface, and it is. It leaves lots of fingerprints, which you don't see while you're using it, but when it turns off, it's just covered in fingerprints. But while you're working on it, that's not an issue. But it is a reflective surface. And I have started turning lights off in the immediate area when I'm working on it, so that I get rid of some of the reflection. Now, the other thing that Apple versus non-Apple products, you're paying a premium for this beyond the size. It has a uniqueness in size, of course, but you are paying a premium for Apple. And the clincher for me buying this was the fact that Adobe is really promoting their relationship with Apple. They have I have Adobe Cloud, so I have all the software packages out there, Photoshop, Illustrator, Adobe Premiere, Audition, and these are all software packages I use. And they also have mobile app versions that can go onto the tablet for free. Now, so I really wanted the ability to move seamlessly between the the iPro and my laptop, and I didn't want to deal with any compatibility issues or that it's been released on Apple but hasn't been released for the Android version, that sort of thing. I didn't not want to even get into that issue. I still have a BlackBerry phone. I'm trying to get a Samsung replacement, the 7 Edge, but the local guys have not been able to come through with me. There's some kind of shortage. I don't know. I think they just forgotten about me, but I've been in the store a couple of times asking for it and they still haven't got it. Yeah, so I really wanted the seamless quality, and the Adobe Sketch is a really nice program and really works well. So what I do is I do my work on my preliminary sketch work on the Pro, and then I use Dropbox to drop it up to the cloud, and then bring it down into my laptop. Now Apple has iCloud, and so there's that option as well. And also Adobe has their own cloud system to sync between the different software packages they have. I haven't used that yet. That'll end up what will be using in the future. Right now, because I use, sorry, I just timed the camera only allows 10 minutes, and I just timed out. So I'm familiar with Dropbox. I've used it in the past, so that's why I'm using it right now. I only have 2 gigabytes on Dropbox for saving material, but I don't really use it as an archiving thing. I just use it as a way of moving digital material between platforms, between for example the iPad and my laptop. So that's how I'm using it at the moment, and then I just clear it off. So 2 gigabytes is more than enough at the moment for non-film work. This is probably where I'll have to get into the Adobe Cloud, because I'll need bigger space when I start doing more movement of digital files that are film based rather than just image based, static image based. So sorry, this is a long post, but I would recommend for people, it's a good choice if you're going to get an iPad Pro. If you're going to get an iPad and you want to use it for artistic work, and you're doing and that's why you're using it, and you don't want to use, and for some reason you feel that pencil and paper is not good enough anymore for you, then this I would recommend. Don't go for the smaller versions. Don't go for the Samsungs or anything else. Go for the Apple one, because especially if you're, sorry, I should say that the Samsung, I like Samsung, and their products are really good. But if you're using Apple products, particularly if you're using Adobe Cloud, I think to avoid the compatibility issues or new generation issues that come out with it, I would keep it Apple, and because Adobe seems to be making a real effort to bring their products out first on Apple products and then Android second. So for me, the clincher was I didn't want to deal with I didn't want to zoom in and zoom out on my image work. I wanted to have something as close to the feel of working on paper as possible, and I wanted to work seamlessly between mobile apps and Adobe Creative Cloud products, and that is working out well. And so for me, it was a good investment. It's an expensive toy, but it was a good investment. And so if you're thinking about it, you won't go wrong if you're comfortable with spending that kind of money, because it is a big purchase. So thanks very much. My name is Chris Erskine. I'm an urban landscape artist, and this is my weekly video blog. And this week I've reviewed my experience with the iPad Pro and how I came about to buy it. Again, I will list below on the screen, and then in the text below on the postings, the reviewers who did a much better job than I did in this, and I thank them for their reviews because I relied on them. I'm just giving you my take on my, based on their reviews, what was my experience. Okay, thanks very much. Take care. Bye.